The purpose of this little video is to introduce those of you that aren't already familiar with a little bit more about mindfulness. And it's a topic that is discussed ad infinitum from all different walks of life. And somehow, because of that, it almost feels as though it's lost a little bit of its simplicity and really what the very, very essence of mindfulness is. And now that we're all in this together and we're all very much caught up in this weird, strange global pandemic, for me, one of the big positives is actually it is a time where mindfulness really authentically has its place. It is a huge positive force for really, really reducing anxiety. And I'll explain a little bit of the reasons behind it. And then we will go on in the second half to do a little formal practice so that all of you will be able to say that you know what mindfulness is, you understand what it is. Maybe you'll even have a little taste of what it feels like just to activate that parasympathetic nervous system, which we will all do by breathing diaphragmatically and just pausing. And one of the really important aspects is that permission to pause. And as busy women juggling goodness knows how many different things, and with all the things that we have on our plates right now, giving ourselves the permission to pause is really, really, really essential. So mindfulness is something that I came to actually in a sort of serious way through a previous life where I was working in education and supporting older teenagers with mental health and with poor mental health. And when I had a queue of them outside my office, all in desperate need of support and no resources, I Googled, and the thing that came up time and time again was mindfulness. So to cut a long story short, I retrained at the UK College of Mindfulness, and I now support people from all walks of life who are struggling with anxiety and who wish to reduce it. I do have a mindful practice myself. I use informal mindfulness all the time. So I think that's a really, really good starting point, is I will explain now what the difference is between informal and formal mindfulness. And informal, you can all do during your day. There is absolutely nothing stopping anybody at all, even if you have umpteen young children running circles around you during the day when you're trying to homeschool, plus juggle a job from home. Informal mindfulness is simply the moment that we take to stop and we become observers. So we all have a constant narrative of a voice that is telling us things to do, observing things, talking to us in our heads. And that is the normal state of mind. And very often for people that are anxious, they might have a topic that they keep coming back to, something they're ruminating on from their past, something that they are worrying about in their future. And however hard they try and ignore it, unless you have something up your sleeve, some ammunition, it can be really quite difficult to let some of those unhelpful thoughts go. And what mindfulness does is it gives us the opportunity to stop. And the way in which we do it is during our day, we deliberately make a decision that we are going to observe. We are going to step out of that narrative. It may be whilst the kettle is boiling. The couple of minutes that it takes, you use that time not to multitask and do anything else, but to ground. And the way in which you do it is whilst that kettle is boiling, you bring your awareness to your breath. And the reason why this is so incredibly simple and so powerful, number one, is that you're breathing anyway. You're not being asked to go down the gym, put on a particular piece of kit, buy an expensive monthly membership. You are doing this anyway. But if you put your hand on your chest right now, some of you may find that you are aware of your breath in your chest, and that may suggest that currently, you might not even be aware of this, but you might currently be worrying about something. And the pace of your breath is a reflection of this. So if you are breathing rapidly and from your chest area, you may have been triggered by something that has caused your body to go into fight or flight. You've kind of sensed danger and your body is trying to protect you. And the way that it does this is it increases the adrenaline, it increases the heart rate and the blood flow, and it's putting you into kind of survival mode. What we need to do is we need to reduce all of that. And by bringing the awareness of the breath to the belly and taking in a deep inhalation and extending the out breath, you are activating your parasympathetic nervous system, which is here. So as you breathe up, you stimulate the vagus nerve, which in turn activates the parasympathetic nervous system, reducing heart rate, reducing blood pressure. That deep inhalation through your nose is increasing oxygen. It's helping you to fight disease and infection because it will increase the level of your immune system. It elevates your immunity. And by releasing, fully exhaling and letting go, you are letting go of toxins. You really are fully expelling the breath and really releasing, so you can sigh out any tension, any tightness, any tiredness, fatigue, unhelpful thoughts. We let them go on the out breath. But back to that kettle. So you are a minute into your kettle boiling, and what you will be doing is you will take that time to bring the awareness to the breath. So you center yourself, you recognize that your breathing is shallow, and you elongate the in-breath. So you are smelling the coffee and sighing it out. You want your exhalation to be longer than your inhalation to really activate that parasympathetic nervous system. Other times during this period of lockdown, is probably most of you are going outside at some point during your day. And as I look outside now in the early evening sun, it is absolutely beautiful. And I can see the trees, the movement of the trees. I can even picture the shape of the leaves, the colour of the sky. I'm aware of the birds. I'm aware of the scent that's coming in through the window. And I've taken my awareness to what is happening around me. I've stepped outside of the thoughts in my head. If we are truly present in this moment, we cannot worry about what is ahead, and we cannot ruminate on the past. So periodically, I would suggest to get started that actually you choose something that is going to be your moment when you practice some informal mindfulness, when you give your mind a break, when you elongate your breathing to activate your parasympathetic nervous system, and when you give yourself permission to pause. And the more we do this during the day, the better able we are to sleep, because we have reduced our cortisol levels during the daytime, which means that we're not going to bed with a head full of worries and agitation. We're already, let's say we're starting our day here, we're dropping our anxiety and our worries by just taking a moment to stop and pause. So it may be that you do this when you boil the kettle. It may be you do it every time you wash your hands, we're all doing that perhaps more frequently at the moment. So every time you wash your hands, bring your awareness to what you're doing. Don't be thinking, oh, what am I going to cook for dinner tonight? I need to go and get this. I hope so-and-so's okay. I need to give them a call. Focus on what you are doing, and that is informal mindfulness. Formal mindfulness is the lovely, lovely practice of taking a little bit longer with intention to really give yourself an opportunity to sit in stillness. You're not looking for complete peace of mind, but you are looking for a longer space in between your thoughts. So to try and still the speed at which we are thinking, to try and quieten the narrative, to learn to observe thoughts, not to engage with thoughts, allowing thoughts to come, but really allowing those thoughts to go. It's the moment in which we stop. It is incredibly good for us if we can every single day for 5 minutes sit with intention. So I do this at the moment, actually, whilst we're in lockdown. I tend to do this mid-afternoon. I'm not a morning person, and I find that the evenings have very much become family time in our house. So late afternoon, I will take myself off quietly, and I'll probably come and sit right where I am now in this quiet space, and I will close my eyes, and for 5, 10, 15 minutes, I will focus on my breath and observe my thoughts, observe my breathing. And when my mind wanders, as it naturally will, I bring my awareness back to my breath. It's really helpful during this time if you can have your feet flat on the floor so you're grounded. Have your palms upturned and on your lap resting, consciously dropping those shoulders away from the ears where we might carry some tension, particularly at the moment. And just take a moment in which to let go. So we're going to all do a little 10-15 minute practice in the second half of this. But for now, I want you all to give this a go, because the one thing that lockdown has provided us with is just the most wonderful opportunity of time. And it is a gift. We are safe at home. We're not stuck at home. And if we can use this time to introduce these wonderful, healthy new habits, maybe we can start our day with Joe Wicks and end our day with some mindful meditation. And I think actually we'd all be more the better for it. So I hope this little introduction has been helpful to you. And I really look forward now to doing a practice with you. So I'll allow yourselves to find a comfortable, quiet space. Find somewhere where you can sit with your feet flat on the floor. You might want to light your favourite scented candle, pop on maybe some very quiet music, and I will look forward to practicing with you soon.